Sign language.
Okay, I think we got it now.
We're good.
Yay.
Can you hear me?
Those lip readers out there.
Yeah,
Nobody's watching.
my fault.
Nobody's watching.
Anyway, so how's your Christmas, guys?
I got a poster.
Why'd you click to me when you said I have a poster?
I was on autopilot. What do you want
Yeah.
from me?
Well, excuse me.
What'd you get?
I got a poster. No, I had fun
I
with
got
my
a
family.
rock.
I got a rock. No, just a fun little family. What'd you get? I got the world.
I'm trying to think of my.
World.
Let's see.
All right, nobody cares. Let's talk about the like nobody tuned in for that. Let's talk about the
Christmas
agenda.
movies. Yeah. So we were trying to decide a Christmas movie this year. We're a couple of days late, but
What?
What time is it?
Never mind.
and I think we came up with one. There's a lot to choose from, actually.
Yeah.
But we settled on Gremlins from 1984. And
Can you tell how we settled it? It was basically, hey guys, let's do Gremlins.
Well, it was. There was a lot of.
Okay,
What
man,
do we
whatever
do
you
for
want.
Christmas?
Stop twisting my arm.
yeah.
Well, I liked how it went because it started with us going, I don't know, there's too much to choose from. I don't know what to do. Let's do something
You're
weird.
right.
And then
You're
Matt's like, how about Gremlins? And I was like, okay.
Do you know why that was? It's because it's on Netflix.
Ah.
It's available.
Huh? That's a good one to do.
Yeah.
It was that or Santa Claus versus the Martians. Right?
Yeah, we were going to do that originally.
But-
Then I told Matt,
Then we
hey,
realized that,
Mystery
Mystery
Science
Science
Theater
Theater.
3000 did that years ago. And he's
Shows
like,
how much of a fan I am.
What?
he had it all planned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So-
one was a tough movie to get through, even with commentary.
That's the only time I
love it.
watched it.
I love it. But so we're actually going to do, instead of doing Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which is like one of those so bad it's good movies, we're going to do almost the exact opposite of that type of movie,
So
and
good it's
instead
bad?
do one. Well, not a total flip, but one that is so good we're going to decide in our second ever Hall of Fame ballot if this movie makes it into our movie Hall of Fame.
Hey, I would have the graphic for that I made before, but guess why I don't?
Why?
Because OBS is stupid, remember?
OBS is an SOB.
An 8R
Yeah.
graphic.
Yeah.
So to remember, we're gonna go over its resume in two easy parts. What are the pros and what are the cons of the movie, and then we're gonna vote. And I think we decided all three of us have to vote to get it.
Yeah.
For it to
Really?
to go in.
Well, I think so.
Is this a new legislation?
I agree. It's kind of like American Idol. You need two yeses to go through.
I'm saying three.
You think
Yeah,
three?
he says it
saying
needs to be unanimous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the Hall of Fame.
Wow. It's
So does that
three
mean-
angry men here?
Wait, our last Hall of Fame vote was Blade Runner, right?
Yep.
And that was unanimous, was it not?
First one we did was Blade Runner, and that was unanimous. Yep.
Yep. Okay. I think that's a good criteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Why isn't the Rocketeer in there?
retrospectively from there, we also kind of decided, without doing a whole podcast, that of all the movies we've done, Alien and Aliens probably both would have gotten in.
And so was Dragonheart, of course. But
Dragonheart.
Goes without saying.
remake Dragonheart.
Remake Dragonheart.
All right.
See, you guys were ahead of me on that one.
Yeah.
Usually I'm chomping at the bit for that.
Chomp chomp.
So,
Yum.
and I'm actually really excited because this is also a Christmas movie, but it's not a
It's
Christmas,
a Christmas
movie in the conventional
sense,
sense.
that Die Hard is.
You're right.
Oh, I disagree.
you know
kind
it
of
was
with
released in June.
that. What?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
it was. But you know what? So was Die Hard. And so was It's a Wonderful Life. So there's a lot. And White Christmas was released in July. So there was a lot of Christmas movies that were released in summer.
That's crazy.
Isn't that?
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
So, all right, Gremlins. What? Before we get started, what is someone give the high, the bullet point of plot of this movie?
I'll give it a shot.
Here it comes.
Kid finds Mogwai through dad, does everything he should not have done, fix his problem. That's the shortest I can make it.
Dinosaurs eat man.
Yes.
Women inherit the earth.
You know, you're better at it than I am.
No, you're good. That's good. That's good. That's a
You
good.
think that covers it?
Yeah, I think so.
And a Mogwai is basically like a living Furby.
What does Mogwai mean in?
It's like demon or something.
Is it?
In like Chinese or
Eastern people think everything's a demon, though.
yeah, I don't know. It means
I mean,
has
they
like a
call angels
connotation like
demons.
that. Which makes sense given where
Jerry
he
Goldsmith did
finds
the
it.
score.
He did.
Yeah. See, I don't pay attention to the credits.
It was a good score, actually.
Yeah.
Let's start with the pros then.
Okay.
The score.
The score.
I like the opening music that the little Furby Gizmo sings.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I'd give the score high marks. But there was like one part in the movie where it did some weird synth thing, and I was like, "This sounds really cheap."
But that was a staple of Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah,
he
and
was
I
very experimental, and he
I
used a lot of
remembered
synthesizers.
that it was 1984.
Yeah, but he still he was very experimental. Like he did Planet of the Apes. There was a lot of synth in that. Hoosiers had a lot of synth. He always experimented with a real orchestra.
For clarity's sake, I'm not against synthesizers. I just didn't care for like that particular piece.
I think Jerry Goldsmith is probably one of the best movie composers.
Accomplished. I'll give
Well,
him
he's
that.
not just accomplished. I think I would put him up there with John Williams as one of the best composers ever in Hollywood. He's done some really amazing stuff, and he's very talented.
He's done some good stuff, but none of it stuck with me. Like I couldn't name you one right now that I consider to be amazing.
The score for Rudy is amazing.
I just mean it didn't stick with me. I love his work. I just
Star
don't
Trek,
love it that much.
The Star Trek theme that we all know is great.
Yeah, it's good.
Secret of NIMH.
I don't remember the score from that movie at all.
Because you don't like things. You don't
I like
scores.
The Secret of NIMH.
What else he did? He did movies.
He did the European score for Legend.
Which is your favorite version of it?
No. That's I don't like his score for that movie.
You're extra cranky today,
Because it
aren't you?
didn't because that was the version of the score that didn't have synth.
Aaron
Remember?
Mogwai.
Do you remember that he did like the standard?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had Tangerine Dream do
Yeah.
the synth score, but whatever.
Yeah.
Other pros.
So what about the score do you think was like so
I like
good?
what
'Cause
I
think I don't know. I think overall the music kind of sets the tone, and I kind of agree with you that I thought the tone of this movie was both unique. It felt very familiar, but also like unique and subversive to what we would expect, and I think the music had a lot to do with it.
The score, the theme, like the Gizmo theme, like the little, like that mysterious theme that they had at the very beginning, and when even
I'm
the
glad
little
they haven't
Mogwai
seen.
sings it, is really cool. And really, the opening scene is awesome. You know, when he goes into the store.
Yeah.
But that score really
The
depicts
tracking
it.
shot through the city, through the town
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
But like when he's in the store, and you feel like the ancientness of
Oh, you mean the very start in the
Chinatown.
Yeah, Chinatown.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Chinatown. I like that a lot. And I like that one theme. And then it got silly with the it got real 80s real fast, but it worked.
Really,
Did anybody else get like Danny Elfman vibes there? I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
This
how
is
I
pre
felt.
Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman
I know,
didn't
but
score anything until like
Whether or
86.
not he was around, it still sounded that way to
Yeah.
me.
He's Danny Elfman is just copying this.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say who started it. I just got that feel, and I'm more familiar with Mr. Elfman. Thanks to Oingo Boingo.
What other? So, speaking of that first scene, I think they did a really good job, and something I really like. Because I mean, this movie is only works if the Gremlins work or if the Mogwai
yeah, I
works.
mean-
And they worked.
And they worked for sure. I thought the design of both Gizmo and the Mogwai, the furry, fuzzy, cute Mogwai, and then contrasted with the like disgusting
Alien looking one.
gremlin. Yeah, the actual gremlins that are just really creepy and like
rubbering, and
violent,
slimy.
and they're just kind of vicious. I thought the design of those was really good. I thought
and the similarities to the designs too.
yeah,
they're like,
they look like a transformation,
Yeah.
not just like completely different creatures.
even the ears slightly, even the ridges in the ears,
Yep.
the little details.
Yep, and how the stripes hair carried through between his transformations, like the design of the characters or of the creatures, how they. I mean, it's still unrealistic how they moved and stuff, but I never felt pulled out of the movie seeing any of them.
I think if that was made today with CGI, it would suck as a movie.
I think it's even more kind of unsettling
I mean,
because of the practical effects. Some of the shots.
It would take extra care, but I think it could work.
The thing that I love the most was all the little like scared, happy, sad expressions they gave to Gizmo, like on the side when he's frightened of when he's got the water on him.
Yeah.
that was so creepy. Like he's
Yeah.
like it looked real. Like he's like, "Arr!" You know, like the little expressions they put on his face were unbelievably
Do that again,
good.
Ben. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
He kind of did the poor. Gizmo kind of did the porg, like.
Yeah, but it was better than Port.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because we talked about that in the Last Jedi review, where it's like the Yoda puppet was not as good as like the '80s stuff, and it's like,
That might have been an issue of puppeteering.
well, puppeteering, but also making the puppet.
Well, I mean, if we'd have seen it with a better puppeteer, who knows?
Well, there was a lot of details that you can notice with like
The mouth is a
obviously
little more rubbery.
Well, the mouth of Gizmo in this doesn't like it just. I think
Doesn't
they
do a
just
whole
changed the
lot.
expressions. They just put something different. They
Yeah,
didn't.
it's almost like plug and play.
And it worked.
The mouth.
It
piece.
looks beautiful, and like his little eyes worried,
Well, they were so clever with how they did the shots to get to the version of the. So like, there's the one that they carry, and he walks it over to the table, but the camera like takes it off screen, and then it kind of moves back in, and there's one already on the table, which is the animatronic one that they can like control a little bit more.
And they had a
so
bigger
like they're
one,
really
too,
clever, yeah.
for the
And so
close-ups.
so the ones with the mouth eating the chicken wings, which is disgusting.
Oh, but
then also
but it worked though.
That's
show how vicious they are.
That's one of my favorite parts about this movie is that this and it kind of goes along with this and the Temple of Doom, I think, or one of the Indiana Joneses that led to Steven Spielberg asking for the
PG-13 rating.
for the PG-13 rating because people were so grossed out and like the themes in this are so dark.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love that about this. It's like this. They even like pepper in the flowery Christmas stuff about like everything's joyful, everything's great on Christmas.
Except for
Christmas
marigolds.
is so good, and get your tree and your presents, and then like
Cheer
this
up the
whole
tree with
movie.
doo-doo-doo.
This whole movie's about like just everything going wrong, and it's like encapsulated in the line where the cops are just driving around with Mike Ehrmantraut. The actor
Yeah.
is one of the cops,
Which I didn't realize.
which is
until,
amazing
I
that
looked
he's
at
in the
cast,
young Mike Ehrmantraut.
Well, I watched it. I was like, he looks familiar.
Yeah,
If you don't know, he's from Breaking Bad. Aaron, he's a character in
You're
Breaking
right, I
Bad.
don't know.
And Better Call Saul.
but like the cop. This is now when
And he plays a cop in that too.
when the Gremlins have taken over the whole town and are terrorizing everybody, and the cops are driving away, and Mike Ehrmantraut, cop goes, "It's supposed to be Christmas. What the hell's going on?"
Yeah.
And it's just like obviously Christmas horror has now become like a thing, but I think this is a really interesting take going into like creepy dark stuff against traditionally very lighthearted ideas.
Well, it's also very like the first half of the movie is a very good, suspense and creepy. There's a lot of creepiness to it. And the second half becomes a dark comedy. And actually, the second half is not as scary to me as the first half, especially when you were a kid. I think the suspense of looking for the gremlins when they turn to the gremlins is pretty creepy.
The threat is more scary than the thing itself.
Yeah, and then the kitchen sink sequence was scary. I remember seeing the first Gremlins movie as a little kid, being like freaked out. And I don't know how old I was. It was much later. Obviously, I was born in 1984, so it was much later. When it was released, but we weren't allowed to see those kind of movies as children. But somehow I saw it.
Somehow.
But I was like, if you're a little kid watching that movie, like it's a scary movie, even when it's not as scary in the second half. But
yeah, I mean, it's not like traditionally scary. There's even some stuff in the second half you could say was kind of creepy.
I think for me though, if you compare it, like, so this is the movie that I can compare it as a kid is Chucky.
Yeah.
And I think Chucky for me as a kid would be scarier than this for some reason. Because I think the whole movie, because I think at one point you get to like the Gremlins. You know, you kind of like
scary. Yeah.
They're silly, and there's a bunch of them. And some reason when there's a bunch of them and people are like, for some reason, in that kind of sense, that's why Aliens is not as scary as Alien. When there's a bunch of them, like in the open, and like you see a lot of them, like Aaron said, you know, it's still scary. You're still creeped out by them, but it's not nearly as scary as like one or two that people think are crazy or no one knows you. But
you don't know where it is.
You don't know where it is. People don't believe you. Like that's scarier than anything.
Yeah.
Aaron, what are some...
well, you actually led me into my favorite part of the movie is they balance the humor and the horror so well that it's funny, and like you said, we end up liking the Gremlins, but they still don't lose their threat. Mm-hmm. So they always feel threatening, and they're still funny. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel forced in either direction, and I like that.
So you mentioned, to your point, but you mentioned that, and I didn't realize this until you mentioned it, and I watched another review kind of summing up the movie, that Chuck Jones was in this. Mm-hmm. And if those of you who don't know, Chuck Jones is a famous director / animator who directed The Grinch Stole Christmas, who directed he made Bugs Bunny. He made Looney Tunes. Mm-hmm. And you can see that influence in this movie, especially the second half, of how zany and cartoony they are.
It's like a Looney Tunes sketch.
It very much. I think that was intentional.
Yeah.
You know, with having Chuck Jones in there to pay tribute to him, and like you said, they're still zany and hilarious, but they still don't lose their threat and scariness.
What I think works so well with that, though, is it really is the idea of the transformation. It's almost like an elaborate kind of like be a responsible pet owner message about this whole movie.
Yeah.
There's no message to this movie. Don't try to put one in there.
It's like
it's 80s,
here.
baby.
It's sort of like but like I love so much that the cute cuddly thing, if mishandled, doesn't just stay that way. Like it takes effort. Like, and otherwise people can turn on a dime, and maybe not in this case a creature monster, but you can apply that to people, that people can turn on a dime and become like these monsters of themselves if you don't like adhere to these rules, I guess. But like
disciplining.
I love that idea that and they use it in a way that's so unique that they don't just turn them into kill monsters, even though they do that. Yeah, even though they literally act like a gremlin and sabotage your machinery and get in the mailbox and mess with Mrs. Deagle's chair, launch her out the window, which I thought was hilarious.
Deagle.
But they can be. You can laugh at it. Like you can approach something that should be scary in a way that isn't necessarily just fright.
Are you saying that there's a lot of meaning in this movie? Do you think it's about the environment?
Now, if Steven Spielberg or
Spielberger,
what's his name?
I want a Spielberger. You just said Spielberger.
He said Spielberg.
Well, I said because I know that's not the director. Yeah,
it's got to be kosher though.
But basically,
they can call it the Jaws. Sometimes the shark
Jaws.
go away. Sometimes the shark wouldn't. Go on. I didn't mean. I got to.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's like a specific moral of the story. Well, we can get to that in the next round.
If
actually.
there is a specific moral, it's stupid.
I think there wasn't an explicit attempt to come up with a moral, but
it was kind of shoehorned in at the end.
I think there's a lot to extrapolate, though, in terms of like ideas that I really liked. Is where I'm going.
You made up a really good interesting point, and I want to address it. I found out today, actually, which I didn't know, because like I like to watch movies and kind of do some research about them a little bit. But probably not as much as you, but you probably already know this. But the original screenwriter was Chris Columbus.
Yep.
Who directed 2 other good Christmas movies, Home Alone and Home Alone 2, and Harry Potter. But the original screenplay, and it wasn't like, and all the way up to a very certain point, they had Gizmo transforming into Stripe. Mm-hmm. Gizmo became Stripe, and I think that's an interesting idea.
I think I would have liked that a little bit more
because it plays more to your point of that this thing that you loved and care about that was good is now like the most evil thing in the world.
Yeah. I heard they also were going to like eat the dog.
Decapitate the mom's head.
I'll bet you they switched it so Gizmo didn't transform so that they could sell toys.
Well, I think that's what Steven Spielberg did.
Yeah.
I think Spielberg overrided it and said, he's too cute, let him make him here. Which I kind of like, but in terms of a one-off story, like a one-off movie, not to sell merchandise, that would be more powerful if
of course.
Gizmo was your old yeller that had hyperphobia.
Well, and it works really well because they contrast it with the dog. The whole movie, the Gizmo, and a dog in itself is sort of like an animal you inherently care about. Just seeing a dog, like you don't want to see the dog get killed. But then they up the stakes with this other cute thing introduced in, but they go out of their way to show its intelligence too. Yeah. So it's like a step ahead, and it's like a kind of a unique thinking creature, and then they show that both the good side of him learning to sing the song and then the bad side of them literally tricking a human being into giving them food after midnight, which is a really cool idea, I thought. Yeah,
it's interesting how in the story, like the Gremlins, when they turn to Gremlins, like they pick on Gizmo, but they don't like try to kill him or anything.
So that's right. They just throw darts at him.
I like that though. It's funny. It's really they're pretty funny.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out why they weren't more mean to him, but
maybe because they gave him life. They respect him because without Gizmo, there'd be no life from them.
That's true. Yeah,
respectable. Yeah,
I hear. Yeah, well, we can talk about this at the end. They're trying to. Apparently, there's a third Gremlins, like really recently being scripted.
Really?
And
you haven't seen the second one, have you?
No, I haven't. But I do know in the third one, they're trying to. The idea that I saw was that they kind of realized that Gizmo is kind of the queen bee, and if you kill the queen bee, everyone dies. Like the hive. Okay. Like if you kill the original Dracula, they all go back and are fine.
It's the control. So they're kind of in episode 1.
So it's basically like them exploring the idea of like, well, what if we just kill Gizmo? Will all our problems go away? And that's just like, that's so dark.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You don't see that in a kid's movie.
No.
There's like people standing in a circle around him with flashlights pointed in his eyeballs.
Who wants to make the movies,
I don't know. I think Columbus. I think he's involved.
What about Joe Dante, the director?
I don't know. I didn't.
Because he directed both of them.
Yeah. I didn't see.
And he's obviously got a talent. So yeah, the Gremlins themselves are good pros. Like the puppets are amazing.
What did you think of the rules? The 3 rules.
Okay, so you want to go or I go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah,
okay.
They're stupid and arbitrary. So what? I mean, they don't. I don't know the lore behind a Mogwai, and they don't feel the need to explain it in this movie, and that's fine.
That's good though. I'm glad they don't explain it.
Well, I mean, I could have used a little bit more. But the way it's done, it doesn't matter what the rules mean. They just gave you the rules and don't break them.
Funny that you should say that, because in Gremlins 2, which I think Gremlins 2 is not scary, it's completely hilarious. It's actually funnier in the first one. They do some really funny stuff, but they actually make fun of Gremlins in the first one.
The first movie?
In the rules.
Oh.
They're like, it's midnight everywhere.
Yeah, I had that written down.
They're like,
so it's midnight Eastern Standard Time?
Yeah,
or what?
They make fun of that.
Okay,
they make fun of they make fun of the whole rules, all the rules. Like,
Okay.
It has to do with moon positioning.
Yeah. What about that makes more sense. But I mean, like Gremlins 2, you have to see. It's a completely different movie. It's not even the same. which is good for a movie. You know what I
Sounds
mean?
like you prefer Gremlins 2 to Gremlins.
I think Gremlins
with the
1
way
is
you are talking
great
about it.
because I think it's scary and there's a lot more charm.
What you're saying is,
But Gremlins 2 is more of a satire.
yeah,
making
you
fun of
like
everything.
Gremlins 2 more, but you recognize the first as being probably a more solid, well-rounded movie.
Yes.
Okay.
But perhaps, yes, because Gremlins 2 is just like, this is out of control, ridiculous. Gremlins 2 is just, it's funny. And it's actually a commentary on cable and all kinds of network and the stupidity of, like, everybody, like, there's a little bit sense of reality in Gremlins 1. Like, even though people are still, like, a little crazy and little characters of the real world, there's a sense of, like, it's a little bit grounded.
Yeah.
Whereas Gremlins 2 is like, we're all in on this joke together.
okay.
And in fact, Hulk Hogan's in it and breaks the fourth wall. You know.
Oh, is that that's where he looks at the audience. Yeah.
You
It won't
Gremlins
happen
were watching
again.
this movie.
Yeah.
Put it back on.
Yeah.
You know, and then he then also Christopher Lee's in it.
Oh.
Not Christopher Lee.
See, I haven't seen it
Yeah,
either.
Christopher Lee. Yeah, Christopher Lee's in it.
I know I've seen bits of it, but I don't remember.
The original Adams family, Gomez Adams is in it. I mean, like, there's all kinds of great cameos in the second
Guy
one.
whose name I can't remember.
I think that's,
How do we?
to me, that almost solidifies this as much better because it.
Well, that's
Sets
ignorant.
the stage.
That's ignorant if you haven't seen anything.
yeah, you don't know.
Well, I mean,
Someone's so open-minded, is so sure of things.
well, it's like like saying Cult of Chucky. Like if you just kind of enjoyed it because
No,
it's
this-
so self-referential,
Well,
is better than the original.
No. And I'm gonna say this is different. It's a
Better
lot,
is different than liked it more.
Cult of Chucky is just a joke. You mean this is not just self-referential. It's making fun of a lot of things. You mean, and it's actually a pretty smart movie.
It has to
So-
do with what he enjoys in cinema.
Okay, we
The
can.
second one's funnier,
Sure.
right? And it's not like Call of Chucky where it's making fun of the previous film. That's like a side thing. That's like a little thing. Whereas like this one is just a completely different idea.
So what's good about this one?
Yeah.
I can't believe they shot. Okay, so there's the set is Hill Valley.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought it looked familiar.
it's Hill Valley, but you know what? It was shot before.
Yeah, it was
Back to the
a year
Future. So-
before.
So it's the same Universal set. But man, the whole time, they really convinced me that was snow.
That wasn't snow?
No, it's in Los Angeles. They shot that in Los Angeles. There's not gonna be snow there like that.
Well, I didn't know where the set was.
Whatever they used is great. I
was
swear
convinced.
I swear to God, I could feel like their
looked
breath
real.
and stuff.
Yeah.
They did so much. They're
did a
probably like
good job.
6 degrees, 7 degrees filming that thing. But like it felt cold.
Yeah.
Like it felt really cold on the set.
I thought the Christmas time feel came through 100% for me.
Yeah, it had to have because I
Good.
was convinced and I didn't know it was fake.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mad that it didn't get released in Christmas time. I think that would
Yeah,
be better.
the snow, the carolers, the Wonderful Life, the lights,
Mm-hmm.
the trees, the Christmas present,
Mm-hmm.
the music, when they cut to the do you hear what I during the that was my favorite
That was
scene.
creepy, wasn't it?
The mom killing the gremlins was my favorite scene in the movie.
Wasn't that creepy?
Me too.
That
She
was
was
so
awesome.
good.
She
Get
was
out of my
savage.
kitchen.
The pacing, the types of kills, that also utilized
smart.
really good effects and did things that were unique, and then they escalated to the point of Stripe getting away, and then it culminates in her son coming back and helping her and hitting it into the fire, where you
And
then
the tree,
see this melting.
and the one in the tree.
The one, yeah, and
That
it,
was so creepy with the eyes.
consumes her.
You can see in the eyes. It was so
Yeah.
blended. Like that's so creepy.
It was good, and
So good.
they started it so slow, and she's like kind of walking there. It
that's-
plays with the shadows in the hallway.
Oh yeah. That's Hitchcock.
I love that. Yeah,
know-
and they did I wrote this down, like a psycho stair climb where she's walking up the stairs with the
Yeah.
knife.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the best scenes. And then
Joe Dante was saying that like he wanted the Gremlins when they come out to be a mix between something else and the birds. Like no, It's a Wonderful Life and the birds. I think that's what he wanted to make me mix between.
It's a wonderful bird.
And you can kind of see that. Little,
yeah, when they did a good fake out with the one in the stocking, which then leads to the tree.
Yeah.
Which I think that's the most superior part about this whole movie is the first half.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure. You could say the same about
It's like a different movie in the third act.
It is.
the escape from how the one in the school gets out of the box and what
Oh,
happens
man, that
there.
was creepy.
Because that's sort of like one of those. This is before we've even seen the full reveal of the gremlin, and you don't know what it
yes.
looks like. And
What
so,
happened
to
to that
Aaron's
one?
point, you don't see it yet, so the mystery is even scarier.
Whatever happened to that one?
He went to
He
college.
joined up. He met up at the movie theater.
So I have a question. Was that Gizmo that he put water on again to make that one?
No, that was the one that I guess he.
It
I
was
wanna
another
say
one.
Whatever he brought to the school is what made those.
But it wasn't Gizmo.
No, I don't
I
think
was gonna
so.
say, it's like, man, he's really torturing Gizmo.
Yeah, it was a separate one, I think.
Yeah.
I loved the pods. I thought the pods were a great touch,
Yeah.
and they were gross. And
They were
it's
nasty.
they were very
alien
alien
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Okay, so this movie filled every horror trope, especially the first kill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
A black man died. Everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
a black man, died first.
You know, somebody's got to.
I will say as good as those individual scenes were from a plot escalation point, when he finds Stripe at the YMCA pool and jumps in the pool, the first time I saw that, I was like, wow, that's an amazing idea to show just this is going to get even like way more crazy than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah,
and then it goes less horror and more.
Yeah.
But I thought they did a good job, at least immediately after that, showing how they have overrun and actually caused chaos in the town.
It makes
didn't
it
just
more
go,
believable.
It didn't go straight to jokes. So
Yeah, I wished it was a little bit more. Like, my only problem with that is like probably the same thing that you probably agree with, is that I wish it was more of that suspense shit. You know what I mean? Like not like the subtlety of the Gremlins. Like they were still scary, but it wasn't as like suspenseful. Mm-hmm. It was like they're scary and they're causing havoc, but it wasn't comical yet. But it's like, oh, here they are, they're causing havoc.
yeah,
Instead of like the great kitchen sequence. That when she stabbed the one with the knife,
Yeah,
the expression of it, it was so good.
it was tempting to like the microwave kill more, but the stabbing was very
stabbing
nice.
It was, and he was still dying in the background. He was still like screaming in the back. Like they're so. I love the animatronics in this were unbelievable, and they got better in the second one, but they're amazing, and it wouldn't have worked CGI. And I don't think it would work today CGI.
Yeah.
There's something about the way they shoot CGI that doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know.
It has to do with budget and time spent.
Yeah.
What other good before we move on?
The girl.
Yeah, she's in
Kate.
Fast Times at Richmond High, right?
I haven't
that
seen the
in my
movie,
view.
but yes,
I haven't
she
seen
is.
either.
Yeah,
But what else? She's in the second one too. She's in a lot of stuff, but yeah, she's really pretty.
What was
I thought
her name?
her character's name was Kate. I know that.
Well, she does. This actually would lead me into my cons, so I'll just hold my tongue.
Con?
Well, I would say and maybe you're gonna disagree. So this is a good segue.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I thought most of the characters in the movie were kind of stiff. Like they weren't. There's no arc. Really.
They're puppets,
They're
Matt.
just kind of.
The people are just as much puppets as the
I
puppets.
know.
They're just kind of. They're on the same
Characters.
plane the whole time.
Yeah.
Kate is the only one that actually has kind of like
A depth,
some depth to her.
especially when she
And
tells the story.
there's two elements to it. One is the side that is kind of the obvious, is that she tells the Christmas story, how Christmas isn't great for everybody. People actually, the suicide rate on Christmas is the highest, and we don't really know why. And then at the end, it's revealed like this brutal story of her finding her dad, like dressed as Santa, dead in the chimney, which is so dark.
Yeah.
But then also she's this character where everyone else just kind of shows up and does things, where she's kind of working on this petition. She's working like 3 jobs simultaneously. It's like she's just kind of this background character, like making this town go, while everyone else just kind of floats around.
Yeah.
Which I think gives her a little bit more of a
She was
dynamic
definitely more
than the
dynamic
rest.
than the other characters.
Yeah.
Like even the main character.
Yeah.
The main character was like a
Billy.
He was like an Archie Comics
Yeah.
cardboard standee.
Yeah. He's handsome though.
Yeah.
But and the dad, I love the dad.
Oh, full. All right.
He was so bad.
We're
he was
gonna
good.
disagree.
But he was so bad. He was good.
We're gonna
Did you know
throw
he
down
was
in
a singer? He was a country
fisticuffs.
singer.
Yeah, I did. I saw
Yeah.
that.
Country singer.
All right, we're going. Let's go to
Let's go.
con. We can do some more pros in the time, but I'm gonna say every single thing with the dad, I hated. Every single time he was on screen,
Every single
speaking,
thing with the dad could have been trimmed out.
hated it.
Can we ask
Hated
why
it.
he was narrating the whole thing when
Right.
he was like
Made no
in
sense.
it for like a little bit? And it's like, did you like it should be the son who narrated?
Yeah.
You know?
And here's a better question: did it need narration?
No.
But that's probably studio influence, I bet.
Yeah.
The thing I liked about the dad, though, that he reminded me of a very overweight, possibly father or dad to Russell Crowe. Now you see it, right? You see it. American country Russell Crowe.
Instead of throwing a phone at somebody, he throws the shave master at him or
Yeah.
whatever
Yes.
it was.
The
you gonna do
bathroom
with that?
buddy
This.
and the smokeless ashtray. I hated his inventions. I hated
You're not supposed to like
his
him.
acting.
I
hated.
loved it.
They cut away to him so many times
do-
for
they
no
do use
reason.
him a
had,
lot.
had no influence on anything.
Yeah, he was the most non-depth character out of them
Especially
all.
when he's in why was he in Chinatown for one?
trying to sell his invention.
That's not the place you go if you want to make a lot of money. I'm not trying to
Clearly
say
he's
Chinese
not making
people
a lot of
are
money, but
poor.
he can afford a nice house.
It was a lot of and then he did this because
Was this Chinatown, New York?
I don't know. Could have been.
Where do you think they lived? In New York?
I don't know.
Upstate New
Like
York?
a little city.
But
Yeah.
the line that
A little
bothered me
hamlet.
was he shows him the Mogwai. He's like, "This is exactly what I've been looking for." Oh, is it?
Is it
Is
your
it
son
really?
that already has a pet and is an adult?
He also had a portable Donkey Kong arcade thing. Like, what was that? That was awesome.
Did I miss that?
Gizmo was playing it at one point. It was
Yeah.
Gizmo size.
I see.
I just
That's
the
advanced.
dad was, and then they try and cap it off with this awkward. I'd like to apologize for everything that's happened. Here's a smokeless ashtray, and then he's like, the Chinese shop owner is like,
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, some other guy gave me this from a like this random
Gas station,
side
isn't it?
gas station quest that we're showing for no reason, and he got an ashtray and he sold it to me, and it's the best thing ever. Okay, like it didn't make any sense. It
Yeah, I was
stupid.
waiting for that to go somewhere, and it didn't.
Made no sense. All his inventions were dumb, just like bad, like 80s, early 90s, thinking that homemade
Goldberg.
inventions are like the coolest thing ever. I hated that.
I liked his voice. I think I liked his voice.
That was the only part about him I liked. Otherwise,
I thought
he
his
was completely
acting
useless.
His acting was terrible.
His
a
acting
country
wasn't
singer.
bad. It was just bland.
Matt. Why do you hate?
Here's the thing. He was like something out of the 40s.
Yeah.
Like, I'm reading the script just like this. Do you want this? Okay, I'm going to
That's
leave
why
now.
he didn't make it into the second one.
I read that as being part of his character. He
Yeah.
just felt like a dry businessman sort of type. But
I did like the sequence though when he was in the on the phone at the convention.
Yeah.
That
With
made
the
me
robot?
laugh.
Yeah.
That made me laugh because there's one point where like they showed a lot of the old. I don't know who produces Warner Brothers Universal. They showed a lot of the Universal props that they still had. Robbie the robot, who was in like a million things. He was in the first appeared in 1950s Forbidden Planet, and then he was in Lost in Space and stuff like that. He was on the phone talking.
Yeah.
At some point, that was hilarious.
yeah, that was
With a fedora hat on.
Yeah.
That was so funny. It's
was-
like taped to his face.
But that's what's hilarious.
Yeah, that was actually pretty funny.
I guess
that was a good gag.
in that also, I guess the composer Jerry Goldsmith makes a cameo. Steven Spielberg makes a cameo in that sequence. Also, the part that I liked the most, which is very subtle, you got to watch for, was in the back of the first time he was talking. You can see that the actual time machine from the old Time Machine movie, had the whole bit, and like it was running, and then it cuts back to the mom, and it cuts back to him. And it's gone, and people are like doing this, like, looking around. But it was so subtle. It was actually, it was so hilarious.
that
but
kind of humor is not done anymore. It seems.
But the best part is, and it's the opposite of Mel Brooks, where it's like you
They didn't
either saw it or
need
you
to
didn't
point it
see
out, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like we're not.
The scene stands on its own without it.
And that's what makes it good. I think that's what makes humor good. And this movie's like the little attention to things that you got to keep watching. Like the that's what's hilarious. It's like that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I like the scenes with him in that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate him as much as you did. I thought he was an interesting voice. He wasn't a very deep character. No. None of the characters were really deep, other than the girl.
There's Corey. So Corey Feldman plays a little kid that sells Christmas trees. He's just kind of there.
Yeah.
He's in the scene where we get the water reveal, I suppose. But
this whole movie's his fault.
He's just hanging out with Billy, who's what, 20 years old?
He looks like
18,
just fresh out of college
youngest?
or something.
Yeah, I guess
he's a bank teller,
fresh out of college. He's hanging out with like a 10-year-old kid who's just living in the neighborhood, I suppose.
Well, all the adults were hanging out with Corey Haim at the time. Was that a bad joke? I can't tell.
Well, can I say something about these characters that I think you agree with?
Yeah.
Is we never come back to them.
Right.
None of them.
We get this Scrooge setup with Mrs. Deagle.
She kind of has a payoff.
She got hers.
She gets all of them kind of get that extra scene where we see him again, but there's no. It never feels like an arc. It just feels like
it's just a setup.
You're
and
dead.
Callback.
Yeah.
What I think about stories and I think about good movies is like you said, the arc, but it's also like you start with a thread and you paint the movie or story with the tapestry, and then it all comes back at the end, and then it's kind of comes in point. And this doesn't have it. This whole movie doesn't have that, and a lot of movies don't have that.
It's almost like a Saturday Night Live skit with a plot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
There's a lot of good elements in it, but like they didn't
learn anything.
They didn't have that that little poignant, like that. And it could be a bad poignant. They could all like we did the guy the tragedy of the guy who was a good guy who drove his tractor around
Oh, Mr. Flutterman. I have a lot to say about Mr. Flutterman.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's gone.
He's dead. Did half the town die? Because I have no idea.
I think they actually did die.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just didn't know. Because at one point, they're getting eaten alive. There's gremlins all over people. They go in the bank and they come out and they're all gone watching movies now.
Yeah.
And it's did they die? Everybody dead? Because there's no movement other than those two characters.
Yep.
They might have just. Oh, yeah, that's true. Maybe everyone's just.
Maybe
dead.
that was the arc.
Yeah, it's just dark. So Mr. Flutterman is the character I'm most interested in talking about in the con section because if
guy
you
that
had
hates
to
foreign cars, right?
if you had to describe the one thing about the Mr. Flutterman character, what would it be?
Foreign.
Yeah, those fucking foreigners.
Well,
that's all he says.
He hates
over and over and over and over.
I'm going to make a clear distinction here. He didn't say foreigners. He said foreign objects.
Foreign product.
Foreign made.
Because they're often done at a discount.
Well, he says that I guess the implication and what he literally says, which to me implies the people making them are doing it intentionally, is that they put malfunctions in their things that their imports that they bring that are sold in the United States
nowadays
to
America does that
intentionally
too.
corrupt Americans and
But why
screw
did
us
he buy
over.
them?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't.
Well, here's an
His logic is obviously flawed.
So
but
Yes.
so they gave a lot of screen time to this character that was pointless. Mm-hmm. All right, but here's an interesting idea, and I just thought of this.
Okay.
And I wish they would have thought of this. He could have been, and he could have still been killed off, but he could have been like an ex machina kind of guy. But the only way he can save somebody is using a foreign product.
Ooh,
That would have been
nice.
great.
good.
That would have been great if he used something foreign, and he had to go through. I don't want to use this. Okay, I'm going to use it, and he uses it.
He stabs a gremlin with chopsticks.
Well, and I
Yeah.
thought so when we were talking about earlier, is there an overt message to the movie or a moral?
there might have tried to been one at the end.
I
but-
thought with him and then with the shop owner basically saying, "Oh, you let him watch TV, you Americans or something."
bad American.
Yeah, he
That's
says something
Japanese.
like that, and I thought overall this was going to be with Mr. Flutterman talking about, how foreign things are corrupted, but then throughout the movie we see all this American pop culture. We see him watching TV, then we see that the extrapolation of these gremlins once they've transformed into these evil beings, just doing these traditionally American things that are associated with like sin and the bar and
Ooh, how about this? Here's the message.
Yeah.
I just got this thought. It's still bouncing around in there. America's bad, but the East is worse. That's the message.
Well, I thought they were gonna say. I thought it was almost gonna be just like you want to criticize other countries or people from other countries. Americans do, but they're not introspective of what the things that they can't critique themselves. So I thought this was going to be overall like we are ignorant to like our own flaws or something as Americans, but none of that came together. Like it's all just kind of loosey-goosey. Like it's not like the ideas I was saying before about, cute thing, transform, like those are a little bit easier to connect the dots, but when it comes to
it ends up
these
being more
random
impactful anyway.
like xenophobic comments and all these people in the bar in America, like it doesn't really flow very well.
Can I say though, like that's why it's not as scary, it's not as charming, but I actually think it has a better message. Is Gremlins 2, and no, I Gremlins 2, like there's so much satire that has all these messages about them, to drive in that point that it's better. It's humorous. It's better. It makes more sense. And it ties in better. And what I like about it is like they don't kill everybody off. They actually have other characters. Like they have characters come all the way through it, which is interesting because that movie came out 5 years later, and I guess Dante got complete creative control, which is rare.
Gotcha.
And I think possibly why this movie is probably a hodgepodge is because of probably a lot of studio influence. And I think now that I'm learning, like the more I think about it, and especially like after The Last Jedi and stuff, I think there's so much studio influence on movies that like we have no
to
idea.
a bigger extent than we can realize.
Absolutely, and the director does the best job he can, but that's not really the true vision of a director. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the rub.
Yeah.
Why do you think all the Marvel directors are previous nobodies?
It's true.
Because they wanted somebody that was easy to
You're
control.
right.
Canvas.
You're
for
right.
us
Why
to paint
are
on.
they hiring these young filmmakers to do like a big blockbuster?
Oh, it's because we want to give them a chance.
Any other last cons from you guys?
I have one.
Sure.
You love the depth of the girl. I hate the my dad died story.
Oh, really?
So forced.
I loved that.
I
thought that was good.
It was so like overly.
I like
every
that they
bad
took
thing-
it to the extreme.
Yeah.
That's
Every
how
bad
I
thing
would
that could have
describe
happened. My dad fell down the chimney. He broke his neck. He died. Then he caught on fire. Then I stubbed my toe. Then I spilled my drink.
it. And then my mom shot me.
Then I defaulted on my bank loans or whatever that means. Then I stained my skirt.
Will you please sign my petition?
Yeah. So, like, could it have been any more like manufactured sadness?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Touche.
That's a good point.
But to the point, it's not awful in this movie. I just don't like it because obviously
Sure.
the movie's universe sets it up and works for it because it's comedic but dark at the same time, and it works. I just don't like it.
Okay. All right.
It's
fair
things
enough.
I don't like
Fair
it.
enough.
Yeah.
Anything else from you?
I mean, other than the rules that don't make sense,
I like the rules. I don't know what you. I
The
really
rules
liked
make
the
sense
3
in
rules.
the
that they-
midnight one didn't make sense. That was a dumb one because it's midnight.
Yeah,
everywhere.
that
And they
it
make
didn't
fun-
make sense.
no.
They
But
were
yeah.
generalizing based on lunar cycles.
But
I liked.
But it's weird that like it's like this is a lot of responsibility for this thing. It's like fuck
Yeah,
it, give it back to the.
It's not though. It
well,
really isn't.
They never told like.
Don't turn on the lights too bright. Don't let it splash around in water, and don't feed it after a certain time. It's not
Well,
that. It's
I
not
would have
that
said
different
no to a
from-
mogwai after the first rule.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's after he tells you all these rules, you never ask, "Well, what would happen? Why? What
Yeah.
happened?"
That's true. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they would have told you, well, it will multiply. They turn into demons. All the different
Well,
things.
that's
Here's
the.
my
It's like,
$200
okay, well,
back.
fuck it. You take it back, dude. I'll give you the $100. Just take it back.
Well,
Whatever.
yeah. That seems like a. They said it. I can rationalize that as like he left in a hurry and didn't hear the rules because they
yeah.
was forcing him out, and so. But what I
Reasons.
liked is that it was so simple. Like
It's the
here's
boy's
this new-
fault. It's a little.
Corey Feldman's fault.
No,
Well,
no. It's
initially it's
Corey
the
Feldman's fault
Chinese
too,
kid's
and
fault.
the Asian kid's fault.
Oh
too.
yeah. because he's Greek.
Is that PC to say Asian anymore?
Well, we know he's Chinese.
Yeah,
Chinese.
He's Asian. He's an Asian kid.
Chinese.
Technically, Russians are
also-
Asians.
I like the rules because it was so.
I like it
It's
too.
so simple. Like we're introducing this new creature. Here are the 3 rules about it. These 3 things, and there's a mystery behind. Well, what if we don't do it? And each thing plays out and influences the whole movie.
Sometimes
I like
Yeah,
that.
but it's
Just
stupid.
have a
It's stupid.
simple
Why
premise.
would you feed? Even if it wasn't the right time, why would you feed them at like 30 minutes till midnight, anyways?
Because they were making all the noise.
I know, but like they could still like have a chunk of something. You know, like there could be like they could save it. They obviously very mischievous, and obviously it was them
Yeah.
who strung up the dog. Also, one bad thing before we go.
Sure.
It was really cool, but if you really look closely, and not that much closely, you can see the strings of Spike at the end when he's dissolving, which is really gross. But you can see the strings of the puppet.
I liked that
I did, but you
end
can look at the
showdown, and
strings.
I loved all the end
was
showdown
good.
stuff. And
But
it-
Gizmo in the car.
But it was,
I loved that.
It was good, but like it wasn't stupid. It was still scary. He's still like he shot him with an arrow.
Yeah.
You know, and the chainsaw was a cool thing. Like there's some cool stuff.
They literally were shooting guns in the movie.
That was that and the arrow arm shot was what I went to in my mind for humor versus danger, and it was done well.
Yeah.
The thing is, they did do a good job choreographing those sequences. It wasn't just
Yes.
like, all right, they fight.
It wasn't
George Lucas.
lazy. Yeah. Yeah. And I liked him upgrading his weapons in the
Yeah.
it's a chainsaw cross. And it's stupid that they're miniaturized, perfect for this like little
Where was
monster.
the samurai sword?
But-
Wouldn't the lights be next to a door though? Like when you find the quick door, you hit a light. You know.
You might be right.
You know.
You know, it's all Dracula rules here.
Yes.
Oh, one bad thing.
Yeah.
They don't like light, right?
Yeah.
The kitchen sink was so bright, and it was during the day.
Quiet, you.
It wasn't sunlight.
It doesn't matter though.
I don't know.
There was sunlight coming in the windows.
You're right.
Like, there was, like, and then it turned dark all of a sudden. Like that's one thing that I always stuck out for almost for.
You're
completely
right.
forgot.
That was
It was
totally bright.
It was completely bright. It was like brighter than this.
They didn't have the right camera aperture lens that day, so they had to
No,
turn the
I would've
lights
lit it
up on
differently.
set.
It actually would have been scary different, but actually I don't know.
In the dark, that actually would have been scary. With Christmas
maybe.
lights only,
That was scary. But you know what
that
was-
would have been
but
really
the kitchen
good.
was so bright. But you know what made it actually kind of creepy though?
It's so
Is
mundane.
seeing them in full light. It was
Yeah.
like, that's in the first reveal.
Sometimes it's good to show everything.
With that nasty
Sometimes.
gingerbread cookie icing all over
yeah,
it. Like,
but it didn't make sense. So that it was bright. They don't
yeah,
like light.
That's true. Fair enough. That's good.
Bleh.
yeah.
You just don't like things. That's the first time I've ever made that criticism.
Are we any last thoughts before we vote?
No, I think we should vote.
All right. I'm going to make Aaron go first.
Okay. I don't like going first.
But do it.
Do it. Do it.
Oh, look at that dead air.
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't have a sound effect for this.
We need,
but
yeah, some like, just play the why over and over.
As much as I like this movie, I cannot recommend it for the Hall of Fame.
Ooh,
I'm sorry, Matt.
that's left field right there.
Matt, no,
What's your reasoning? Or what's like your main kind of reason, I suppose?
Here comes the grumpy eyes.
Without putting it into too many words, it did not stick with me like the other Hall of Fame stuff we've done. Like, I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid, and I remember thinking, oh yeah, Gremlins, I should watch that years ago, and I never did.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
enjoyable.
I
and I'll
enjoyed
watch
it.
I actually want to watch it again.
I enjoyed it start to finish. It didn't stick with me.
Ben?
I'm going to agree with Aaron because if we're going to have a Hall of Fame, we have to have certain standards, right? And as enjoyable of a movie this is and how well done it is, it's fun because of the, the lack of threads and tapestry or like coming together and the arcs and everything because of how commercial it is, I guess you would say. Even though I love commercial stuff.
80s commercial is better than current commercial.
You're
though.
right. But because it didn't have that, it was fun. I love it. I'll watch it again. It's up there in movies you have to see, before you die because
I
it's
would
just-
recommend everyone to see it. At least.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But if we're
think
going
that
if we're
goes
going
without
on our
saying.
Hall of Fame,
I'll soften my statement, Matt. There are so many of my favorite movies that I could never recommend for the Hall of Fame. Like
Sure.
Kung
Oh,
Pao,
yeah,
Enter the Fist. That is one of my
Yeah,
top
yeah.
10 movies.
No,
not
I'm
a Hall of Famer.
I'm not even going to fight you guys on this.
That's a
It's
good
just-
point, Aaron. Like, because I have like Harry and Henderson's a great movie, but it's not gonna be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, my Hall of Fame, but it's not gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And this is Harry Henderson is actually a better movie than this because it has arcs. It has more. Like if you think of the story itself, it's actually a better movie in terms of like it gives you all you want. You know, the humor, a little bit of suspense. But
Does it have butt shots?
Harry guys turning around? But
That's old.
it's Harry, but I'm saying like as a complete movie, there's the story itself is more thought out.
Yes.
I mean,
So why? So you're. What is your qualm with this one then?
my qualm is just, it's just not
You
quite.
said it
there.
was You said it was commercial, or what's that mean?
Commercial in terms of like it's like a commercial today.
I think with me, just like with me, his criticism is not that there was any one thing. It's that the few negatives compounded too much for us to recommend it.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was too much studio involvement. I think what my complaint, especially the second half
Okay.
of the movie, and I think
Is it that it was tonally inconsistent in
No,
the
I don't
halves,
think
or
it
is it
was
because you
there was-
didn't like one half?
I enjoyed both halves.
Yeah, me too.
So it's the inconsistency that you don't
It's
like.
not. It's not just the inconsistency. It's
Sometimes it's hard to tell what it is.
let me think about it. It's missing. You know, it's missing that completeness. It's not quite complete as a good narrative.
And we don't even necessarily
And I
know
think
what
really
that
the
something
arc,
is.
like you said, the arc is one of the most important things. And like, I enjoyed a lot of things, but like, and that's why I kind of like the second one better. But that's not even near the Hall of Fame. This has got the Christmas charm, the mystery. There's
True.
a mystery behind it,
Yes.
which I like. Those are pros. The score, everything was really well done. It didn't have that. It wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah, I need to like have a movie be like an A, maybe A plus to be in the Hall of Fame. I saw this as a B plus.
This might be in the second Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame understudies.
The shitty Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fun.
Gotcha.
Second
This is
string Hall
all
of Fame.
fun.
So I
Hall
would
of Fun,
say
yes.
I was really interested in doing this one because I felt like Blade Runner, and maybe I'm over. Maybe my assessment is wrong,
No,
but I
no,
felt
keep
like
going.
when we did Blade Runner to see if that was in the Hall of Fame, I thought that was just a shoe in. Like I thought,
Oh, I did too.
obviously we're going to put it.
It was an excuse to do Blade Runner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess there's always a chance, but it would be like a very like
I actually think
controversial decision, I guess.
I actually
if we
did the second Blade Runner we watched 2049.
Yeah, we
That
talked
would be a
about
much harder decision.
No, I think it would be in the Hall of Fame over the other Blade Runner.
Really?
So my point being is that our first one, it felt like this is an easier movie to elect, I guess, and it would take a really serious personal argument, like what you're saying, if you weren't going to put Blade Runner in. So I was really interested because I thought Gremlins is a cult classic. And it's, I feel like everybody knows what the Gremlins are, what the rules are.
Everybody at least knows and enjoys
You
it.
are aware of what the Gremlins are, and have an awareness of this movie. So, and it was nice to do it,
It was a
around
tough
Christmas.
decision for me.
So I thought like this would be a good bar for us to set. For me personally, this is like right, like as close to the fringe as it could possibly be. I think I would still vote for it to be in, opposed to you
That's fair.
guys. Specifically for the design, the lore, the rules, how they portray the creatures, and the fact that it all kind of relates back to Steven Spielberg having to ask for a new rating because of this movie, and like
yes.
what that means,
Cultural
like what they
impact and
did with
such.
this movie, and how that the reason for them to ask for the rating, that part, how that like is reflected in the movie, like why they had to do that. Those aspects, like the horror comedy side, all come through pretty well for me. Like the characters aren't great, but the fact that this is a monster movie in Christmas, like that's generally set with like kid themes, and like some of the decisions they made were so unique that I don't know. I think it goes above some other movies in this kind of genre that have come afterwards, which is why I would put it above.
What other movie you thinking of? Just the audience.
So I don't know. So like you say, Harry and the Hendersons. I don't know if these are exactly similar.
No.
I'm trying to, because that's a little bit different. I'm trying to think of.
It's rated for PG.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think.
We did came before this, didn't it? Because there's an E.T. puppet in it. That
It was like 1982, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just really appreciated some of this. Like we kind of critique, or at least I critiqued Last Jedi as like, oh, it's so subversive of past Star Wars, but no, it really isn't. Like this actually feels like it was kind of subversive at the time.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
so I can appreciate that they actually did things that were unique to the point that it kind of changed the landscape of things. So that's why I would argue.
I agree with you.
Yes.
But it's out, so screw you guys.
But I agree with you. But to me, I think when I look at the Hall of Fame, I have to. The most important thing is overall story.
Yeah, no, that's a fair critique for this movie.
Overall story, and like to me, like if the story is solid, and that's why I didn't like The Last Jedi. Didn't like a lot of movies. If the story is solid and well thought out, which probably was at one point.
Story covers a multitude of sins.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the only reason. Now, with everything else, it transcends, movie ratings, like tropes, and making it dark and funny, like doing some things that are like, that's great. And the puppets are amazing. The special effects in this are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You even have some stop motion in it at one point.
Yeah, with the wide shot on the street.
And it still looked good,
Yeah, it was all right.
But the puppets were just unbelievably good. But I agree with you, but I think it's just not quite there.
If it makes you feel better, Matt, your impassioned speech almost swayed my opinion.
You're a fickle
Just ignore I'm trying to ignore
You're a fickle matter.
I'm trying to ignore myself the inventor dad scene. So
yes.
And that's
That's
like
like
all the Mogwais.
Those were in the back of the mind.
The fact that this is Fringe is almost for me is entirely because.
Well, this means we'll have to do the second one at some point.
Yeah, we'll have to watch that.
I think I like doing more controversial picks for Hall of Fame because it's easy to be like, we should check to see if Rocky's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
of course
like at some point, it's just like, that's.
Oh, It's a Wonderful Life. It's got to be in there, right?
Yeah.
Mary?
All right, so
You want the moon,
Gremlins does not make the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Do we have
remake
anybody
so
watching that's upset about it?
No, nobody ever watches.
Nobody watches us except for us.
Well, so this is our Christmas episode. We've got a couple days before New Year's, and so I just wanted to. What episode is this, Aaron?
This is 48, I believe.
So we will have done 48 episodes since March 17th of this year. So I wanted to take a minute before, because this is our last pod before before 2018. Of those 48 episodes, what are some of your guys' favorite moments from our first year?
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Because hands down, I had so much fun hating on Mother. So much fun.
I had so much, I agree. I had so much fun you hating on it. I love, this is off camera, but I loved us when me and Matt went out of the theater and we went to Giacomo's or whatever, the pizza place.
And Aaron.
That's what I'm saying. But you and me in particular were like, we really enjoyed it. And then we started talking about it, wait a minute. We started thinking about it. We enjoyed what it was, and like that's what kind of Last Jedi was for me too. But it's you think about it, and you think about it, it's wait a minute,
I've been bamboozled.
Yeah. It's we enjoyed what they tried to do, cinematography and stuff like that. But we're this is not very, very good. But I enjoyed that. I laughed hard when you made that skit. They're why?
I remember that you two were initially mixed to positive on Mother when we got out of the theater.
We weren't sure.
Yeah, Aaron basically totally made us see.
My favorite part of that whole night was we walked out of the theater, Ben went to the bathroom, and Matt was thinking, I don't know, there were some good parts, and I'm sitting there banging my head against the wall.
I missed that part. That's funny. I think I came out and go, what did we just watch?
I actually love that movie for what it gave me. Sometimes it's fun to hate something.
That was fun.
Oh my God! If it had been a good movie, it wouldn't have been half as fun.
No.
Thank you,
for the
Mr. Aronofsky.
memories. I loved Aaron's It skit.
Yeah.
And the reason I loved it is when he did our voices. And he did my voice. It made me laugh so hard.
The story
Dude,
behind
we're
that is we did not have the time or the gumption to do all the voices for everybody respective. So I was like, I'll just do it myself. Whatever. We're lazy.
And it made it better. It made it much better.
I will say, of all the movies, I would say of all the movies we've even done, period, I would say it has been the most pleasantly surprising.
Yeah.
In an extremely positive way for me.
Because I went in there with no expectations.
I loved it so much. So that's going to be my next question. But I love that. I loved the movie, and I also loved that it was a payoff for Aaron because I knew like it was such like a
largely
pinnacle moment after all this time to see it come to life, and so to see it pay off, was really cool.
And he probably the most critical of it too, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, I've read the book like 3 times.
So of the 2017 movies, the ones that came out in this calendar year, what do you guys?
Favorite movies?
We'll hear the Oscar nominees and stuff, but before even that, of the ones we have seen this year and done for the podcast, what's your favorite? Like the best movie, not even the experience.
I can give you a top 3.
Okay, go.
Okay.
Top spot, It. Favorite movie of the year. I recently just pre-ordered the Blu-ray. It comes out in a few days. Second place, Mother. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, but for different reasons.
Wow. That's shocking. Okay. What was 3?
And third place would be Dragon Slayer.
Not Dragon.
Yeah, it can't count though.
Yeah, do it.
You're right.
Do
I
it 2017.
thought you meant the pod itself.
No.
Yeah, do it 2017.
2017.
I can read them off if you want.
Yeah, read them off.
All right, so these are the 2017.
You're missing one really good one.
He's reading them off.
My number one.
Okay, you say your number one now, then I'll read the rest.
Okay, Blade Runner.
That was obviously great.
The number one movie, and the reason why it was shot in IMAX. We went to see it in IMAX. We saw the whole IMAX experience, the whole sound, everything.
It was a 9
But
out of
also,
10.
it was a really good.
It's
I can't
a
wait to watch it
well-made
again.
movie.
It's submersive, and
Yeah.
and it didn't totally opposite of what a good.
It was everything The Last Jedi wanted to be.
Actually,
It was not the same as the one before it. It had a legacy to carry up or to live up to, and it did it.
and it was commercially unsuccessful.
Of course.
Yeah. So, in addition to us doing random movies like Dragon Slayer and First Night and like Rocketeer and other personal favorite movies,
Renee Jackson.
we also did a Better Call Saul podcast. We did a TV animation podcast. We did a
Right.
bunch of Game of Thrones podcasts.
That was a good one too. Wise.
So those are our TV ones. But from this year, these are the movies we saw and did a podcast for. So if you're interested, please go listen to these.
Go watch
We started with, and I'm going to say a little something about this first one. We did our very first one ever was Power Rangers. We did a 360 video version of that podcast.
That was like scary to me. I didn't know how to handle it.
This was in March, and this was maybe the second time I'd ever met Aaron.
Who is this ass?
I remember in the middle of the
table?
podcast criticizing the end part where the I don't know, the Zord or whatever comes up, and I made an Alex Mack reference. And no one else really commented on it. And then I hear this, was that just an Alex Mack reference? It's like, all right, this is going to work out.
She was cute.
All right, so 2017 movies. Power Rangers, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Alien Covenant, Wonder Woman, Baby Driver,
I remember that now.
Spider-Man Homecoming,
Spider-Man.
War for the Planet of the Apes,
Yes.
Very good one.
Dunkirk.
Then
Which I will say, I think Blade Runner would fall in second behind Dunkirk for me.
Okay.
That is why you failed.
John Wick 2.
Yes. That was 2017. I thought it was 2016.
I have written down 2017.
Oh,
We watched
I will
watched the
concede.
DVD of that, but yeah.
Death Note. Oh man,
Again.
I can't recommend that experience because I don't remember that experience.
was terrible.
We were blitzed for that viewing.
And I watched it twice. And I was blitzed twice. Yeah. Then I played Blitz.
and then I rode Blitzen. It, Mother, Blade Runner, Cult of Chucky, Thor Ragnarok,
Yeah.
Justice League, and then Last Jedi. So
Okay.
What was the most
pretty good.
disappointing one?
Last Jedi?
disappointing.
Last Jedi for you.
Yeah, easily.
I would probably say, I don't know. It's kind of a weird one, but I would probably say Death Note. I never would have ever thought it would be that bad.
I'd be more disappointed in it if I was a fan.
Yeah, I think that's where it comes from, is that I kind of was a fan of it.
And that's part of why maybe my criticism of Star Wars is unfair, because if this was any other movie where it was just a standalone, I wouldn't hate it nearly as much. I've come to expect something from Star Wars, and maybe that's unfair.
Well, mine is the same thing. Alien Covenant was mine.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I was so disappointed in that, and I was so excited.
I was just kind of
terrible.
lukewarm on it, you know.
But I was a big fan of the Alien series.
So
and
was I.
And I was like, this sucks. I'll never watch it again.
It didn't feel right, but I didn't hate it.
No.
I'm changing my answer to the number for sure. Most disappointment. That was Baby Driver for me.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought that was good though. I thought Baby Driver was good.
I don't remember
I
you
thought
having
it-
negative opinions of it.
Oh, I didn't. I did not like it that much.
Oh.
I think I think I remember saying it grew. It definitely grew on me, but it
Like a leopard.
it was flawed, more flawed than
I mean,
I
I'll agree
had
with
hoped.
you.
So, and
might-
so you said it. You said the It sketch. I'm trying to think. The other thing I would call out from this past year that I really liked doing, and I hope to do a lot more, was what we did for The Room.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doing that was so
That
fun.
was fun, yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
Especially for Aaron, who hadn't seen it yet.
That was the only reason to do it, really.
Yeah.
That was really good.
I think we should all find movies that we haven't seen and do that.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be so much genuine reaction to 'em.
And one thing I look forward to doing is car conversations. As a side note.
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah.
true. That's a future iteration.
So we're thinking about maybe having an immediate reaction to movies, and then we do a pod in addition to it as well.
See how they contrast.
Yeah, so we do like a 30-minute pod, or less than that, 15-minute pod conversation.
do
Keep
like
it
a short video.
Short video.
Yep. We got lots coming.
What's next?
Please watch our channel so we can quit our jobs.
Please watch our channel so we can have friends.
I don't have any. Just you three.
So 2018, big stuff for Spark Madness, big stuff for Game Sharks.
Huge.
You got a bunch of new stuff, right?
Yeah, I have an experimental plan for Game Sharks. I'm not sure how well it's going to go over with Ben, so I'm going to have to run it by him for the first time right now on stream. I've got several
This is
people who
happening.
want us to play a long-form RPG, and it could be good. I already have one picked out because I think it would work, because it's a good baby's first RPG.
There you go.
What is it?
I will not say yet, but I just wanted to test the waters.
surprise.
Fine. I'll do it. Fine.
Because it's
Will it be pizza?
yes.
Okay, I'm there.
It,
All right.
I picked the game specifically because it's not completely serious. It has zany moments too.
All right, folks. Watch Game Sharks.
Watch Spark Madness.
Watch Spark Madness. Watch it. Share it to your friends.
Yeah.
Tell
Show
us
it to your
comments.
grandma.
Comment. Interact with us.
Yeah.
Like our video. Give it a smash that like
Hey,
button.
Dislike our video if you don't like it.
Somebody like something, or just watch
Have
it.
an opinion, please.
Yeah. Do you like our format? Do you not like our format? What do you want us to do? We're trying so hard.
All right. I think we're done.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Thanks for 2017. Bye.
Bye.
All right.